Greetings, hello everybody, welcome back to another review. Today we're taking a look at this glorious thing. Whoa, it actually stands. Look at that. I just placed it down and stand up, but watch this. Wait, you're not gonna... There we go. I love how the one time I'm going to open this video with talking about stability of a figure, the figure's just like, no, I'm gonna stand for you, it's fine. I have been struggling with this thing for the past day of me owning it. But anyway, regardless, today we're taking a look at the 2021 CollectA Megalosaurus. If you remember, when this one was revealed, I did not like it. But here we are reviewing it. You're probably like, SpinoDude, why did you buy it? Well, I was in the store the other day and I saw they had a sale on some CollectA figures and they were only $4 a piece. So I got this one and the Neovinator, which is coming up for review right after this one. And I'm going to repaint them and put them up on my Etsy shop for sale, but I also thought it would be fun just to have a quick look at them since they were so cheap. Now, I will say, as much as I still do not care for this Megalosaurus, I like it better in hand. I can definitely see what they were going for more now. And I'm also more forgiving of it just for the fact that it is so tiny. This thing is minuscule in size. I believe it is about 6 inches long. Yeah, right about 6 inches long, which is about 16 centimeters. And it is right around 2 inches tall at the tail there, which is about 5 centimeters. So it's a small little thing. Now, if you remember, the reason why I didn't care for this one is because it looked really uncomfortably mammalian to me, and I think it's the choice of coloration with the browns, with the striping and the speckling, and then the dark muzzle, which almost reminds me of like a more canid-like nose or something. Let's just zoom in and have a little look-see at the head here. And you can see what I mean. The head and neck area is built up with a lot of soft tissue here. The lips I'm totally fine with. I have nothing against the lips. There's just something about the general shaping of the head, and when I'm looking at the Megalosaurus skeleton over here, it looks fairly correct. Like, it matches up well enough for how big this figure is. Maybe it's down to the pose, but there's just something about this one that just reeks uncomfortable to me, and it just doesn't look right. And I have seen much more exaggerated reconstructions of theropods than this one, if I'm being honest. Besides that, though, I must say the scalation detail is lovely throughout the sculpt. The wrinkles and folds are very, very nicely done as well for how big this figure is. There's an interesting speculative feature right behind the hips on top of the tail here, where these quill-like structures extend up from the base of the tail. Now, we have no proof that Megalosaurus had this, and I generally have nothing against the figure possessing these structures, but I also think that with the general pose and shaping of the body, if you cover up the head and the legs, it kind of just looks like a Psittacosaurus body with a small patch of quills going on. I don't know. This figure just gives me a lot of strange vibes with what it was going for. But let's address the elephant in the room, is that this isn't just the CollectA Megalosaurus. This is referred to as the CollectA Megalosaurus in ambush. Yes, in ambush. Now, when this one was revealed, some people in the comments brought to attention that it looks like it's almost prepping for ambush, like kind of crouching down in the bushes and preparing to launch itself at its prey item from the undergrowth. But it's Megalosaurus in ambush. It's not Megalosaurus prepping for ambush. And just the name still makes me laugh when I just look at this figure, because it's just sitting there. It's basically almost like a T-pose model that they've made, because I know that they digitally sculpt their models nowadays. And it almost looks like it's borderline unposed, like they just sculpted it completely straight out, bent the legs a little bit, positioned the arms a tiny bit, and called it a day. And while I can kind of see that argument to people that it looks like it's prepping for ambush, I just think it's a visually unappealing looking pose, and I think it's really lazy. Honestly, from my perspective, it's almost like CollectA was trying to be creative by giving it some sort of new, unique situation that it's in for a pose, but ultimately it was just chosen as a really basic pose so this thing could stand without a base. Yes, alright, other elephant in the room time. I have loved the majority of CollectA's theropods in recent years, and let's zoom out here and bring out one of my favorites as an example, which is their Metriacanthosaurus from 2016. These two pretty much have the same exact price. Sure, the Metriacanthosaurus has a base that's not very nicely detailed, but they've been getting better over the past several years with their carnivorous dinosaurs that have bases on them. And I mean, there is no comparison here. Look at how gracile and beautiful the pose is on that Metriacanthosaurus, how it just looks like it's in motion for such a small little figure. And I consider the base to be a bonus because you can just set it down and it won't even tip over or anything. The Megalosaurus just looks absolutely lifeless, stiff, and awkward and weird. Plus, if you just tap, it'll fall over. This one, you don't have to worry about that because it's got a really nice wide base on it. And sure enough, the musculature in CollectA's legs has always been a little funky, and the Metriacanthosaurus is no exception with the way the shaping is in the thigh and the lower leg there. Let's get this one out of here for a second. But the legs on this CollectA Megalosaurus just do not look good. I mean, the shaping in the musculature just looks totally off to me there. It's not the worst I've seen from them, but it just doesn't look right. Not to mention the feet are oversized because they are catering to quite a small number of people actually in the collecting community who complain about the bases on their dinosaur figures. And while their feet haven't been the best over the years, sure, you can argue they might have more detail on them, but they are just too large, squared out awkwardly at the back of the foot there to give it extra needed stability, which doesn't really help it at the end of the day. And another thing that's off topic is look at the size of that CollectA logo on the inside of the leg there. That is another eyesore. And the big CE logo is on the chest still. I don't know why that needs to be so big. It's not as bad as the Allosaurus I reviewed from them last year, but it's still noticeable. And also keep in mind, this is not just this Megalosaurus that I own that's having stability problems. There were 3 other ones at the shop that I was at, and they were all experiencing similar issues. Anyway, enough on that. As you can tell, I am an advocate for bases. I think CollectA had a unique thing going. They were filling a unique niche in the collecting community with these really nice, accurate, really lifelike looking small, not just dinosaurs, but small prehistoric creatures. Sure, the bases didn't look the greatest, and I know there's some people who don't like them, but it just gave CollectA a unique flair for their figures, and really made me excited to see what unique poses we'd get out of them. Now, all of these new theropods we've gotten just are lifeless, in my opinion, and don't look inspired in the slightest, besides some interesting integument they've got going on. Anyway, I think that covers everything that I have to say on this figure. Let me know what you think of this one down below, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in my next video. So take care, and bye-bye.